Some people think I'm an alien. Not true.
And then we named our first boring machine Godot, because I kept waiting for it. It never came. and we got it going. And now we're making good progress. We're funding the company for merchandise sales. So thank you for anyone who's bought our flamethrower. You will not be sorry, or maybe you will. It won't be boring.
Get like one of those like toy drones. Think of how loud those are, and how much air they blow. Now imagine if that's like 1,000 times heavier. This is not going to make your neighbors happy. Your neighbors are not going to be happy if you land a flying car in your backyard.
It'll be very helicopter-like.
Or on your roof. They're just really going to be like, what the hell? That was annoying.
Yeah.
You can't even, like, if you want a flying car, just put some wheels on a helicopter.
A frequent question I get asked, I noticed it popping up on Twitter quite a lot, where is my Model 3? Sometimes not phrased quite as nicely as that. We're building the cars as fast as we can. We're going to drive this ramp as hard as we possibly can. I have here a chart, so if you were having trouble falling asleep, then this chart might help you. The point is to give you a sense of how manufacturing actually works. There are 10,000 unique parts in a Model 3, and these are coming from all over the world. About 2/3 come from North America, and about 1/3 from the rest of the world. But as you can see with this chart, which looks like we're being shot with ICBMs, like that is the ICBM chart, actually. Same as exactly. Well, we need missile command.
Is some form of superintelligence possible, Jan? Yes, no, or it's complicated?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
No.
Well, this was disappointing. We didn't find any disagreements. Let's try harder. Just because it's possible doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. So before I asked if superintelligence is possible at all, according to the laws of physics, now I'm asking, will it actually happen? Yes, no, or it's complicated?
A little bit complicated, but yes.
Yes, and if it doesn't, something terrible has happened to prevent it.
Yes. Probably.
Yes.
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 No.
And perhaps most importantly, jackknifing is usually the worst nightmare of a trucker. How do you stop your vehicle from jackknifing if you're in difficult conditions? The truck will automatically stop jackknifing because it's got independent motors on each wheel, and it'll dynamically adjust the torque on each wheel so that jackknifing is impossible. Your worst nightmare is gone with this truck. Gone. You never have to worry about it. So it's miserable job. Reliability.
That picture at the end is a picture of one of the circuit boards inside the Roadster, right?
We try to confuse the aliens as much as possible. There are a few things I'd recommend, which is keep laws short. Long laws, it's like that's something suspicious is going on if there's a long law. You know, if the size of the law exceeds the word count of Lord of the Rings, something, which it does, amazingly, then it's like something's wrong.
There's some joke about like if reality was a video game, you know, it's sort of like the graphics are great. The plot's terrible.
Yeah.
And the spawn time's really long.
Talk us through your thought process as you were watching the launch. You said you were incredibly concerned about it. Just, you just wanted to clear the pad because it kind of set expectations low. So talk me through as you were watching it.
Yeah, I think this is true of anyone who's involved in closely in the design of something. You know all the ways that can fail. And that's like the sort of mental checklist that's scrolling through your mind. Is all the things that can break. I mean, there's thousands of things that can go wrong, and everything has to go right once the rocket lifts off. There's no opportunity to do a recall
or upload a software fix or anything like that. It's like, see, the passing degree is 100%, at least for the ascent phase. And I've seen rockets blow up so many different ways. You know, it's a big relief when it actually works.
One more question on the room. And then
I bet the first, you know, when they first, whoever's like, you know, when they're like first launched like a 747 or DC-3 or something like that, I bet the chief engineer was like, I can't believe that thing's flying.
I think within the next year, we'll be able to land the rocket intact. We'll be able to land the rocket, just not intact. It's like, there's some exciting videos on YouTube if you want to watch them. If it sees that you always come to the car around 8 a.m. every morning, and you usually want the temperature at a certain level, it'll preset the temperature at that level. If it sees that you've been parked at a particular location for a long time, and that's a frequent place that you park, well, it's probably your home or your work. So it should ask you, is this home or work? I mean, these are just sort of basic, obvious things that, like, you know, all cars should do. Like, why don't they do that? It's tricky. Like, if you make the car really sensitive, then it just, you know, goes paranoid and then doesn't move. And then you don't want to make it too aggressive. That's bad too. So really the threshold is it more convenient to summon your car or walk to your car? And if it's more convenient to walk to your car, someone is not. So this is, in looking in the long term and say what's needed to create a city on Mars? Well, one thing's for sure, a lot of money. So we need things that will generate a lot of money. My opinion of Bitcoin is that, I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing, but it's essentially, its main thing will be, I mean, this will probably get quoted here and there, but I think it's primarily going to be a means of doing illegal transactions. But that's not necessarily entirely bad, because not, some things should be, maybe shouldn't be
Now, what
illegal.
about government policies? Like, one of the things that I would like to do is I would just like to keep working on my email as I'm driving to work.
Sure.
You know, there's a 30,
Some people do that already.
Like I said, I would like to do it without breaking the law.
The power to weight ratio is of interest to you. Rocket turbo pumps really take the cake. The turbo pump on the Merlin engine generates 10,000 horsepower and weighs 150 pounds. Now, fuel efficiency is a sort of separate question. But first generation was parachutes to a water landing, then arguably sort of wings and gear. Landing legs, landing gear. Then like the sort of third generation is propulsive landing with precision. I mean, if you saw a movie about the future with aliens landing, how do they land? Like that. Okay, obviously. They don't it'd be kind of weird if the aliens landed in the ocean with parachutes and be like, okay, nothing to fear.
This company was Zip2.
That's right.
And
terrible name.
Yeah. What was the reason for that name?
Well, we were just incredibly stupid at the time, I think. That's the main reason for that name. And because we got some ad agency, because we thought, well, we don't know anything about names, so we'll get some ad agencies to suggest a bunch of options, and then Zip2 seemed kind of speedy. I don't know why the hell we chose that stupid name. I mean, I don't ever sell any stock unless I have to for taxes. So, I've said publicly, I'm not going to take money off the table. I'll be last. I'm going down with the ship. So I'll be the last to do it. Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't recommend anyone start a car company. I really wouldn't recommend it. It's not a recipe for happiness and freedom.
It's also a four-seater. Yeah. So it's a 2 plus 2, 2 plus 2. Okay, you can't put giant people in the rear seat. But you will put, a giant person squashed or a small person.
A lot of people
imagining,
dreaming about future cities, they imagine that actually the solution is sort of flying cars, drones, etc. You go above ground. Why isn't that a better solution? You save all that tunneling cost.
Right. I'm in favor of flying things. Obviously, I do rockets. So I like things that fly. This is not some inherent bias against flying things. But there is a challenge with flying cars in that they'll be quite noisy. The wind force generated will be very high. Let's just say that if something's flying over your head, if there are a whole bunch of flying cars going all over the place, that is not an anxiety-reducing situation. You don't think to yourself, well, I feel better about today. You're thinking, like, did they service their hubcap? Or is it going to come off and guillotine me as a flying pad?
I think figure of merit is that the ratio of drive time to charge time should be at least on the order of like 6 to 1, if not 8 to 1 or 10 to 1. At the point at which you're driving, say, 10 times as much as you're charging, then the natural sort of human need to take a break, unless you have an enormous bladder, is...
The follow-up question would be, how can you manage so many things simultaneously? It's pretty complex.
Well, I don't recommend this. I really... it's not good for quality
The
of
final
life.
thing I would encourage you to do is, now is the time to take risk. You don't have... you don't have kids. Your obligation... Well, sorry. Probably not.
It would be quite fun to be on Mars because you'd have gravity, which is about 37% that of Earth. So you'd be able to lift heavy things and bound around and like have a lot of fun.